What's happening? So we're back. Unfortunately, there's no UFC coming up, right? In these next few weeks. Yeah, it sucks that there's no fight cards like they usually do at the end of the year. Even a New Year's Eve card. I remember back in the day they used to do the K1 and the Pride New Year's Eve cards. Those were used to be insane. So the next card, unfortunately for us, is in January 11th. So next few weeks a little dry from the UFC. No worries. Oh, that's more time to research and get those picks right. So if you guys seen the last show, the Kobe Covington Buckley card, we went 100% on that card. Hit every pick. Every single pick. Even a lot of those picks, too, were underdogs. Just Dustin Jacoby, when I took him, plus 300. Cub Swanson, I think, was plus 130, plus 140. Davy Grant started out as a slight underdog, then moved to even odds. But sometimes that's is what it is. I'm probably the only guy on YouTube that is able to do 100% on cards. I haven't seen, maybe there is some people, maybe I just don't know. That's very possible, but I haven't seen many experts that are able to go 100% on an entire card, and I've done that multiple times. Now, am I going to do that every single card? Absolutely not. I'll be the first to tell you that's literally impossible unless you have, time machine or something. Literally impossible. But I have done it multiple times, and I will continue to do that. And it's all about just putting in that homework and just being accountable, right? Holding yourself accountable for all the losses you do take, right? And yeah, man, I can post my bets for you. The issue is I was getting a lot of messages from a lot of people saying, sort of almost getting mad at me for posting my bets, right? And I was just doing it out of fun. Like, I'm just like, here, this is my bet. This is what I'm betting on this week. These are my bets, is what it is. And people were getting upset. Like, bro, I just, I'm having trouble paying rent and you're trying to flex on me. I'm not trying to flex on nobody, bro. That's not the kind of guy I am. I'm just doing it out of sort of fun. Like, it's sort of fun for me to just, bet on the fights. Like, it makes it a little more interesting for myself. And also, it's when I put in the homework and I'm studying like crazy these fights, watching all their old fights, doing my homework, and then I go out there and I make the right picks and they hit. Right, that's a good feeling, man. And unfortunately, some people don't like it. Some of you guys don't care. Like, man, I want you to post your bets, right? And that's great. Some people, they were sort of taking it the wrong way, which is fine. But at the same time, there's that accountability, right? You always have to hold yourself accountable. There's guys that see me go 10 UFCs in a row where I kill it, right? Boom. I've done that multiple times, hit on like so many cards, and I'm on this crazy win streak. And then they're like, oh man, I got to follow this guy on the next one. He hit the last 9 cards. He might hit again, and then they take me on that one, and then boom, next thing you know, who knows, Judge Adelaide Bird shows up, whatever it is. But you got to hold yourself accountable, right? It's not my fault, right? Everything in life, for some people with this victim mentality, everything in life is other people's fault. And I don't play that. I have to be 100% accountable for my actions, man. It is what it is. So, yeah, Kobe Covington versus Buckley. Let's get into that, man. Kobe Covington took the fight on short notice. I would have loved... Like, I had Buckley in the fight. I took him, right? I took him on our bet, on our picks as well. Clearly, Colby Covington is not the same guy he used to be. And it was a tough fight, but I would have liked to seen the later rounds because Joaquin Buckley, he cuts a lot of weight. He's a guy who used to fight at 185, cuts a lot of weight now, and he carries a lot of muscle. If you guys know anything about guys with a lot of muscle, they have to pump oxygen to all those muscles. I would have loved to seen him in the rounds 4 and 5. He was a little gassed out at a few stages. I've seen him a little huffing and puffing, but he was in there and he was ready to go, man. And he was landing bomb after bomb on Kobe. And it was an impressive performance by Joaquin Buckley, man. No doubt about it. Joaquin Buckley is an absolute monster, and I think 170 he's found his home. At 185 he was just too small for the weight class. He's only I think 5'8". You got guys at middleweight that are 6'4", and lean, big, strong guys. So I think for Buckley, 170 he's found his home, man. Few matchups I would like to see with Buckley is I would like to see Buckley fight Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards is a great matchup. A lot of people are saying JDM. The thing is, if you put him with JDM, now you're killing two contenders. Or you're killing one contender off, right? Leon's already been the champ. He's number 2 in the division ranked, right? Number 2 or 3, I believe. So if you put him with Leon Edwards, and if he beats Leon, then he's getting a title shot right there, right? So I really like that matchup. It's and what I want to see next for Kobe Covington is the Gilbert Burns fight. I think no one has really actually brought that up. Gilbert Burns versus Kobe Covington. That's a great fight, man. Both guys are good in the grappling. Gilbert Burns more of a jiu-jitsu guy, but he does have great wrestling as well. Kobe Covington, not the greatest, not very good at jiu-jitsu, but he's very good positionally and a very strong wrestler. And, on the feet, I would slightly give Gilbert the edge, but Kobe Covington's decent enough where that would be a really interesting fight. Both guys are a little older now, I believe. I believe Gilbert and Kobe are both around 36 or something like that. I got to double check. I'm not actually looking at. Yeah, but that would be a really good matchup. And we got some future matchups that I just had to get into because I really wanted to talk about the disrespect towards Merab Dvalishvili. You see here, Merab here plus 210 underdog against Umar Nurmagomedov. This is crazy. Do I think Umar should be maybe a favorite? Sure. If he was minus 140, minus 150, I'd be like, okay. But the fact that he's almost a 3-1 on some gambling sites, he's 3-1 favorite to beat the current champ Merab Dvalishvili. And Merab is a monster, man. So Umar's a guy who likes to wrestle. He's very good at wrestling, right? He's a very good striker too. He's got a very good, that front lead head kick he throws. That left one, it's really nice. It's fast, no telegraph. But the thing is, he's never fought anybody like a Merab. Merab has fought everybody, bro. Like, Merab's been in there with just killers. Jose Aldo, Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley. Say what you want about him, but Sean O'Malley's a very good fighter. He's not, I wouldn't consider him an elite fighter or a special fighter, but he is good. He's a very good striker, more one-dimensional, but Merab made that fight look easy. He completely embarrassed Sean O'Malley. I'm not going to say embarrassed, but he dominated Sean O'Malley pretty good. The fact that they think Umar is going to literally destroy Merab, that's what these odds tell me. If you're minus 300, they're not even giving you a chance. You're over a 2-1 underdog. That's a little disrespectful in my opinion, man, because Umar, his fight with the Sandman, it was a good fight, right? He did dominate him. But there was nothing in that fight where I'm thinking, man, this guy's going to just destroy Merab. I don't know, man. Have you ever really even seen Merab get taken down like that? Like, he fought Henry Cejudo, Olympic gold medalist, was taking Henry down, talking to Zuckerberg while he was dominating the grappling against an Olympic gold medalist. That's pretty rare where you see an Olympic gold medalist in freestyle wrestling getting out-wrestled by an MMA guy. Pretty unheard of. That is, it's crazy, man. They're counting out Merab. I don't think you should do that, man. Don't get me wrong. Umar's a monster. Do I think he should be the favorite? Right, because stylistically, he's a bad matchup. He's a guy who can really wrestle good. All the Nurmagomedovs can, right? They're from Dagestan. But so can the Georgians, brother. The Georgians can wrestle, too. These guys in Georgia are really good wrestlers. So a little disrespectful, but that's interesting, man, because they're counting out Marab, man. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, the Islam fight. Okay, I can see why he's a huge favorite. He's already got a win over Arman Sarukin. He's been looking really good lately. But at the same time, I don't even think Islam should be minus 340. Right? I mean, Islam, like his last fight with Dustin Poirier wasn't the most impressive. He got the finish, but there was times where Dustin Poirier was stuffing his takedowns, and now you're forced to strike with Dustin Poirier, and he cut Islam. Islam had a nice cut on his face there. He was battered up a bit from Dustin Poirier, and I think Arman Sarukin is even on a higher level than in Dustin Poirier, especially in the grappling department, right? So he's a guy who will give Islam some trouble in the grappling. And if Islam does take him down, you're not going to hold him down the same way you are Dustin Poirier or one of these guys. Yeah, you got Yuri taking on Jamal. That's a good fight. I like Yuri in that one, but yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm gonna actually check the UFC website here. Let's go to the rankings because we got some things to talk about here. We got the featherweight champ Ilia Topuria. Everyone's talking about him moving up in weight and fighting Islam or the winner. Even talking about fighting Charles Oliveira. And I'm a guy who likes guys when they want to move up, challenge themselves. The issue is Ilia Topuria needs to clean out the weight class before he moves up. There's only 2 more guys left for him to fight. I don't care about the Volk fight. Volkanovski fight literally does nothing for Topuria. If he goes out there and starches Volk again, all right, man, he already did it the first time. They're literally only giving Volkanovski the fight because he took the short notice fight against Islam. They're literally doing it because he did them a favor. Now the UFC sort of owes him a favor. So that's the only reason he's actually even getting a title shot is just because they owe him a favor. I don't know if I agree with that because you took the fight and you did not look good. You got knocked out really badly. I don't like seeing guys get title shots coming off losses. You got 2 straight losses. I don't think you should be getting a title shot. That's my opinion, especially when you got guys like Diego Lopez in the mix. Now Movsar Evloev undefeated. I believe he's 17-0. A Russian dude. He might be able to give Ilia some trouble. And if Ilia can go in there and he beats Lopez, he beats Movsar Evloev. Yeah, sure. There's no one left for him to fight at featherweight, right? He's already beat Holloway. He's already beat Volkanovski. You know what I mean? Like, he already beat Josh Emmett. There's no one left. Then, okay, we move up. Let's do it. But he's a guy who's he's not the biggest featherweight either. So moving up to lightweight when you got some big dudes at that division, that's tough, man. That's really tough here. Yeah, there's some good future matchups, man, coming up. Yeah, what's the big one here that I wanted? Oh yeah, we got the Riyadh season. You got Izzy taking on Nasruddin Imavov. That's a great fight. That's a tough fight for Izzy too to come back. Like, they're not giving Izzy any easy fights, man. Nasruddin Imavov is a monster. Shara Bullet, huge favorite against MVP, which is interesting because that might be a good dog to bet on because I haven't really seen Michael Venom Page get outstruck too much. Shara Bullet, he's not a grappler. He's not a guy who's going to go in there and wrestle, even though he's from Dagestan, and that's all they do out there is wrestle. But he's one of those guys who's actually a striker, and he's probably going to go in there and try to knock out MVP. And MVP is a wicked striker, probably one of the best strikers actually in the sport, on paper at least, right? Him, obviously, Boatan, a couple other guys, but that's crazy, man. They're counting out MVP in a striking match. That itself is crazy. What's the other fight? Yeah, DDP taking on our boy Sean Strickland here. I don't know if I agree. I don't know why is Hamzat not getting the fight? Maybe they're just trying to see what happens. Is they're like, oh, maybe Hamzat won't be ready till June, so we're just gonna do Strickland DDP in the meantime. Great, right? But the issue is, What happens when Strickland wins a close decision? Let's just say, for example, which possibly could happen. This fight very likely is going to go to the decision. Very likely. And it's very likely that this fight is going to be a close fight. Again. If Sean Strickland goes in there and wins a decision, now what happens? Now you got to do a rubber match. Now they're 1-1. And now that holds up the division. Now Hamza might not fight till the end of the year in 2025. And that's a guy who I believe is the number one middleweight in the world. How do I gauge who's the number one person in that division? Yeah, he's not the champ, but if he fights Strickland tomorrow, if he fights DDP tomorrow, he's the favorite. Odds makers has him as a favorite. That's what I consider to be, the best guy in the division. Who's the favorite going in, right? Merab's the champ, but Umar's a 3-1 favorite going into the fight. So is he really the best person in that division? Or is Umar? Clearly, according to the best odds makers in the world, you got MIT students, like just brilliant guys that are doing the odds makers, doing the odds for some of these fights, including myself. I help make odds as well. But yeah, they never put me on the co-main or the main events. They're putting the heavies, the geniuses on the big ones, the guys that most people aren't betting on the prelims, right? They're betting on the big fights. So that's when they put in the heavies, right? Yeah, man, this is it's going to be a good year coming up. The whole Conor McGregor, Logan Paul, people message me, what do you think about Logan fighting Conor? I don't care, bro. This is nonsense to me. Number one, Logan Paul probably walks around at 230. Have you seen the guy? The guy's juiced out of his head. Even Jake Paul, last weigh-in, was around, 230 against Mike Tyson? Conor McGregor is a big featherweight and a small lightweight, right? When he goes to fight at lightweight, which is probably his actual weight class, I prefer actually featherweight, but he just doesn't have the discipline to stay there. He was very good, but the moment he blew up to 170, fought Nate at 170, he's not looking good at 170. He's not a welterweight, man. He's a small dude. He's he's not the biggest guy, and you're trying to put him against guys who are 230, and everyone, you want to see Jake versus Conor. It's like, first of all, why is Jake fighting lightweights? Why is he not fighting someone who's 230 as well? You're walking around, your last weigh-in was 230, you're a heavyweight, you're trying to fight a guy who's walks around at 170. Maybe now he's a little bulked up, 180 maybe, but he shouldn't even be that big. That's a joke, man. So I don't care about Conor McGregor or Logan Paul, but I'll be real with you. I'm still gonna tune in to watch because it's still a fight, right? And everyone's still gonna tune in, and they're gonna make millions of dollars, and it's gonna be this gimme fight no one cares about. And clearly Conor doesn't care about being the best anymore. There's guys in the UFC that don't care how much money they make. They just want that belt. They want to be the number one fighter in the world. They want you to address them. I am the number one fighter in the world. I'm the guy with the belt. I'm the best. Conor is not like that anymore. It used to be. Now it's more, I want the biggest paycheck. And clearly, these boxing fights are going to pay you a lot more than fighting in the UFC, unfortunately. Right? That's unfortunate for the UFC fighters that they're not getting as much as the boxers, but we knew that. It is what it is, man. I don't like the fight, to be honest. I don't even care for it. That means nothing to me. So don't even message me with that Conor McGregor, Logan Paul nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So we gotta stay tuned. I really hope no one pulls out of this next Makhachev-Sarukian card. I haven't actually looked too much in the Dern-Hebos card. So Dern and Hebos were actually supposed to fight on the last UFC card. Chris Curtis here taking on Roman Kopylov. Last time I checked on the odds, Chris Curtis was actually a big underdog, which is interesting. He might be a good underdog pick. Got to do some more research. Maybe, I don't know if he's taking a fight on short notice, why he's such a big underdog. Have to look into that. But a decent card. This is just an appetizer leading up into the big boy. UFC 311. You got 2 title fights. That's insane. 2 title fights, bro. That's crazy. And I'm not talking Weili Zhang or one of these, being the other title fight. No, we got Merab versus Umar. And, you know, you got Islam versus Sarukian. That's a great card, man. I can't wait for that. I'm stoked. Yeah, let's do it. I'm out.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.